Hey guys, this is Jesse here at Jesse Lee Strength and Fitness. I wanted to do another video. I haven't done a whiteboard session in quite some time, and I was just out on my run and I had kind of a thought around training and what people do throughout the week. It could be food, exercise, behavior, lifestyle habits. And I kind of was curious around a few things. So I kind of had this question, does what you're doing match your goals? So insert throughout the week or throughout the month or throughout the year. And I kind of wanted to pose that question to you all and offer a few ideas, concepts, and reflections. So when you ask yourself that question, it kind of feels arbitrary. Well, of course, yeah, what I'm doing matches my goals. And then I thought maybe let's go a step deeper and let's put ourselves on the hook a little bit and let's write down what you're doing throughout the week. That might be, your training program. Let's write down the miles that you're running, the miles that you're riding. Let's write down all of the times you're exercising in the gym. Let's write down the times you're maybe, training, so to speak. And let's put that all on the page for an entire week. And let's just ask ourselves, does that make sense in relation to your goals? And then what are your goals? And maybe writing those things down as well. And kind of making sure that what you're doing throughout the week and your goals, and see if there's any alignment there. Are those two concepts adding up? And if they're not, maybe we should make some adjustments. Or if they are, good for you. Okay? So what we'd like to do in training is make sure we make a declaration about the goals that we're trying to achieve, whether it be run a 5K or just look and feel better, or maybe it's lose 10 pounds, or maybe it's play with the grandkids without getting tired. Maybe it's overcoming an injury. Maybe it's all of these kind of various obstacles and kind of linking that goal and act what we're actually doing. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is just an assignment is go ahead and maybe write down what your goals are, and then maybe write down what you're currently doing. Let's just say you're wanting to lose weight, but let's write down kind of all the behaviors that are in support of or that aren't in support of that. And let's just try to make sure that what we're doing and what we're actually wanting are in alignment. And what would matching your goals and your behaviors look like? So let's say, for example, in a training program, you go out and you kind of write down those things that you're doing throughout the week, and you write them all down, all of it, all the push-ups, all the sit-ups, all the running, all the biking, and then you write down your list of goals, and then you compare those things and make sure that they're making sense. So what I'm saying is not to be hypercritical here, but I also want to make sure that what we're doing and what we're shooting for are in alignment. If it's too much or if it's too little, make some minor adjustments here and there and try to get in alignment with your goals and your actual behaviors. So, as an example, Jesse, what would those things look like? Well, for example, if we're trying to, for me, my goals, I'd like to get stronger. I'd like to get a little bit more conditioned. I'd like to run a reasonably fast 5K time. I'd like to look good with my shirt off. And I want to make sure that I'm always ready for the task at hand. If it's picking up a large stone, if it's walking to the other side of town, whether it's riding my bike for 25 miles, whether it's running a 5K, whatever it might be, kicking a soccer ball, going and chasing a frisbee, or it might just be being support to somebody in my neighborhood who needs me to lift a heavy couch. Those are the things that are kind of my general goals for my physicality. And then I also, in regards to the kitchen and the other behaviors that I'm supporting, I'm choosing not to drink because it's good for my mental health and it's good for my physical body. I'm choosing to try and eat good, healthy fruits and vegetables throughout the week, lean proteins, and For example, trying to limit the consumption of things like, processed foods, sugars. Now, we went away this weekend, for example, and we stayed the night at a hotel, and we ate a beautiful elaborate dinner, and that was really well and good, but I couldn't support that behavior throughout the week. I would need to have making sure that my week looks like my month, looks like my life, because I believe it's all kind of a fractal, right? So what I'm doing today dictates what I might do for the week, which dictates what I might do for the month, which dictates what I might do for the year, which dictates what I might do for my lifetime. So generally, throughout the week, I'm trying to train reasonably, lifting weights, anywhere from 2 to 3 days a week, wanting to go on moderate runs 2 to 3 days a week, taking days for rest, and trying to eat appropriately throughout the week, which builds on the week and then the month and then the year. So go ahead and do this for me. Write out what you're doing throughout the week. Write out your goals. Make sure that those two are in alignment. If they are, good for you. If they aren't, make some small adjustments. What would a training program look like for you that was meeting your goals? How would a person who was trying to attain these goals, how would they behave? What would they do throughout the week? What would their exercise plan look like? And then just start making small steps towards that. Now, perfectionism is the killer of most dreams, so try to make the smallest steps that you can to get those dreams in alignment. Try to take little, small, incremental steps in order to make things work. Then, after time, you can reassess. What am I doing throughout the week? How does that align with my goals? Looking pretty good. Okay, what other adjustments do I need to make? So that's my rant. I wanted to just talk about that. It was a concept that I had in my head during running, and I wanted to make sure that we're all trying to get to the same page where we're doing what we say we're going to do, and we're going ahead and making stock and just taking a look at what are we actually doing, and then trying to get that in alignment with our goals.